Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you're a return viewer, appreciate the view time. If you think about hitting that subscribe button, really appreciate it if the videos are helping you or not. And also, if you're a return viewer subscriber, my deepest appreciations, and I'm extremely humbled. The support has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Once again, May 17th to 19th, coming up quickly, the Gemvision Virtual Summit. I'll post a link in the description below, so please check that out. You'll have to register for each event. I guess some of the events, there's only so many people that will be attending, so make sure you're able to get the events that you want. All right, so check the link out. Let's go ahead and get going. Let me get some fresh. The last video that we did was like a little concept video as far as engraving, right? So we're going to go in and do a little bit different work on a band style that you could make. So let's get going on it right away. We'll grab a tools and we'll go to ring rail and we'll just hit enter right away. We'll take that tool, or that ring rail rather, and switch that seam point, holding down shift, swing it down to the bottom, hit enter, select that ring rail, keeping everything organized, changing it back to our ring rail layer. From here, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and we'll go to our tools and grab a profile. And I'll use the exact same profile that we did for that engraving one that we did the other day. And do a little bit more manipulation on it this time. So we'll grab that ring rail, double click on it, and then we'll just accept that. All right, and the only manipulation I'm going to do is I'll leave it at a 2 in height for this demonstration here, but I will take this out to a 5 because there's going to be some things that'll happen that we'll need to look at. So I'll hit enter, and then, well, actually I should have just select that, go to edit, and just went ahead and activated the auto sweep. And that'll just give me my rail, save me a couple clicks, and hit enter, and we'll turn that to shaded. Okay, so right now we have this ring, right? And we need to extract some ISO curves to get our surface for our auto base, right? So let's go to our curves menu, extract ISO curve, and then let's just kind of drag it around to this edge here, something like that. Maybe a little bit more right on that edge. And then we'll just accept that. We'll select that ISO curve and we will go to our transform, and we'll just mirror it in our X direction and turn off our Y, and it should be on our other side. There it is. Okay, we'll hit enter. All right, now we need to split this surface, right? So we'll select that, we'll split with our yellow and hit enter, and that should isolate that surface there. So that's what we want. But this is not a poly surface. I mean a NURB surface. It's a poly surface. How do I know that? If I go to explode, now it's in 2 different pieces, right? So let's just go back real quick. And let's go ahead. Well, actually, let's go ahead and explode that one more time. And let's... Yeah, okay, and we'll just go ahead and go to our surfaces and see if this will help us a little bit, and we'll match that to that. So now it's a NURB surface, which will be great for an auto base. But we don't want to auto base off this surface. We want to offset this surface. So we're going to offset it. We're going to flip that direction. We want it going into the ring. And we have it solid yes. Both sides no. Distance of 0.5. Let's change that distance to a 0.6 and see what that gives us. And then hit enter. Okay, and then wait for it. And enter again. And there's our surface, right? So if I take that surface and I nuke it, explode it, and then just get rid of this surface, get rid of that surface. We don't need it anymore. And if I take this and this, we are back to a NURB surface again, right? So I'm not sure. Let's see if we can do this. Let's grab merge and do this surface with this surface, and they're trimmed surfaces, so we cannot do that, right? So we'll switch to our yellow layer. We'll go to our curves. we'll go, well, actually just dupe curve. I have it over here in quick commands, and I'm just going to select this edge right here, and I'm going to, actually, let's do it from the bottom. So let's go down here and dupe this edge, okay, and then hit enter. Okay, so we have that one, and then I'll get rid of this surface, get rid of this surface, and then I will do one more dupe edge, this edge here, that edge going along there, and we'll need to come over to this other side there and there, hit enter and join those together right away. All right, so we have that. So now we're set up for a surface 2. And yeah, that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do that surface 2. So we'll go surface 2. This edge here, that edge there for our rails, and then this surface or that profile there for that, and we'll hit enter and enter again, and now we have a poly surface or a NURB surface, and we cannot explode it. If we try, cannot explode single surface, so we know it's a NURB surface, and our seam should be on the bottom, since we flowed it, we put that profile at the bottom there. So let's go ahead and get our auto base here. So let's drag that, get this, get our auto base, and there we go. We'll hit enter. Since we're in our transform already, we'll go to center, select center, and we'll just drag it up. We will go ahead and change that to this layer here, and we'll do my dupe, because I like to work off just the edges, not the surface. We'll dupe that, we'll hit enter, and we will hide this surface, and now we will go to our curves, and I will just go ahead and from our midpoint, snaps mid, okay, it should be right here to here, and then I will go ahead and draw one from here to here as well. So I'm going to work off this surface. I'm going to select all that. I'm going to change it to our green layer here, and I'm going to lock it. Locked means I can't select it, but I can still snap to it. Okay, and that's what I kind of want. All right, now I need to get the items. You can draw them out or whatever. I already have some made, and it's basically videos we've made in the past. So I'm going to go through here and grab a couple things out of my library here. And I'm going to grab this thing here. And of course, it's way too big. So what we're going to do right away, since it's at C4, or F4, is I'm going to scale it 3D from F4, and I'm just going to take it down pretty small for right now. Just get it somewhere around what we want it. And there's one other item, and if you need to import something from another file, all you have to really do is go into your drop-down menu and then find out what file it's in, and then just click on it, and it'll import it. You don't have to get a whole new viewport or anything like that. We're going to use these two items here to make this item. So we'll take our band and we will hide it. All right, so we're in our perspective view here. Now I'm going to take this flower and let's see, I'm going to grab it so that both my arrows turn white right there where the dot is, right? And then I'm just going to snap it over here, but of course it drops it down a little bit too far because it snapped it right in the middle there. And I'm going to just drag it up so that's kind of with our surface, something like that. Now I know that I have this at a point, my cutout on my ring is a 0.6, so I know I can drag that up a little bit. So I'm going to go to a scale one more time, and I'm just going to do it 1D. From there, holding down shift, and then just kind of make it a little bit larger, not too much, something like that. All right, and now I'm going to unlock my layer there. I'm going to select the line, go to my curves, go to my point objects, and I want to divide that curve in by number of segments. And then I want 4. So I'm going to type in 4 and hit enter, and there's my points. All right, so they are yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and select those points just so I keep everything together and change them to my green layer. All right, so there's our items. Now what I want to do is take this item here, which is about a 0.67, and then I'm going to duplicate it from that point over to this point, over to this point, and I could mirror it, but it's just as easy to just snap right there. And that's where those are going to go. Okay, now let's go in here. Excuse me. I'm going to lock this layer here since we can snap to it. I want some kind of design going right through the two of these. So what I'm going to do is my yellow layer, grab me a curve here, and I'm going to, it's on project, so it should go to the C plane. Something like this, and I'm going to come over here and go something like that, and I'll go to wireframe, and I will go to our parametric blend curves, go from here to here, and we need to flip both of them. So flip, and now we have this, and let's drag this one out a little bit like this. Let's drag this one out a little bit like this. Kind of get it in a shape that we kind of want. Something like that should be fine. And then hit enter. And if you don't like that shape, maybe you want to make a little bit, you can kind of drag it around. That's the nice thing about parametric history with MatrixGold, is you can do all kind of manipulation again and again and again, which is awesome. All right, so we'll take this and we will take this and we'll just switch those to gray and turn them off because we don't really need them right now. What I'll do is I'll select this curve, and we want to offset this curve. Offset. I'm going to do it from both sides. I'm going to come down here, both sides, and yeah, that's what we want. And so I'll get our curve out here, something, I don't know, something like maybe this here. Looks okay. All right, so we got this. Now what I want to do is, the points on these are probably through the roof. So let's check that. Yes, they are. So we want to lower those points down. So we're going to select here, type in rebuild. I could do it from the parametric, but that's fine with me just doing it here. We'll go from 5, drop that down to a 3. We'll go from 26 down to a 6. And it's only like a 0.03 off. And there's our preview, which is fine. So we're just going to take that. All right, that broke history. And now if I would have done it from my parametric rebuild right here, I wouldn't have broken that history. But it's okay for me right now. So we're going to take this and this, and we're going to turn on our points. All right. So we have these two and these two. I should have probably rebuilt it to 7 points, just because we're going to take this one and maybe bump it out a little bit. And we're going to take these two and kind of drag them apart from each other, so it gets a little wider in here. And then we're going to select these points and move them closer together. And we'll go ahead and drag these points and kind of move them closer together. Kind of get a little going thin, going wider, and going thinner, something like that. All right, so you can manipulate that however you want. If you wanted to, you could go back in here, and do that rebuild again, and give it an odd number. Let's do 5, see what that does. Let's hit OK. And now when you turn on points, you have those points in the middle, so you can just manipulate the middle there if you wanted. right? And we'll just kind of keep it like that. Just wanted to point that out. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to select this curve, and we're going to go to all viewports. Kind of just organize things a little bit here. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to click here. And I know it's a 0.6, right? So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a 0.6 here and then hit enter. So now it duplicated those to the top there, right? And they should have the same points as the ones on the bottom. So let's take those and let's turn on points here. Okay. And what we want to do with this one is, let's go ahead and change to our wireframe. This one is we want to take these 2 points here and we want to drop them down something like that. Again, if I would keep the points on up there, I wouldn't break history. Something like that. And I'm not sure exactly where we're going to need them because I don't have a surface I can check. So let's go ahead and grab that surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to surface. I'm going to go to loft here, and I'm going to select this, the 2 outside and the 2 outside here, and just hit enter. And we'll change it to shaded, and we get something like that because of the way I selected the curves, which was not good. So let's cancel out of that. I'm going to take this curve in the center and I'll turn it to gray real quick, and now I'll just select them all and do a loft, and it should lay it out there. Now right now I have it set at normal, so it's kind of like poofing up above what I had it set at, and it's not closed, right? So I'm going to switch the normal to loose. Now it drops it down, keeps it more toward our surface there, right? And then I'm going to also hit close. So now it's closed off on the bottom, and yeah, and we'll take that. Okay, and now what I can do is first let's take this and switch to this layer here. Let's take all our yellow that we got out there. Yeah, let's take our yellow and we'll switch it over to our green. Well, actually, let's undo that. We'll take all our yellow and what's out there? Switch it to gray. Gray. I'm just making sure I don't grab anything I don't want. And gray. All right, so we have this, right? And it's not closed yet. So what we're going to do, and it is I can't explode it. Cannot explode, so that means we can turn on points on it, right? Now what I'm going to do is I have a little right in there, right? And then this dropped down just a little bit. So I'm going to take these 2 points, just kind of bump them up, give it a little bit extra. And then I'm going to go to my wire, and I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 points, go back to my shaded so I can watch, and we'll just drag those down to it kind of disappears into our flower. And then we'll right click off of that, turn back on wireframe, grab these 2 points over here, turn back on our shaded so we can see, and then we'll just drag it down into there. So we'll take that. So now we have this, right? So from here, let's put it back on shaded. Now I can sit here and I can take that and I can duplicate it. From point, I'll just go to this point here and then drag it over here. So now I know it's exactly where. And I can come over here and drag it and just put it to those points, right? And it'll all be the same, right? So we got something like this going on. All right, and if I go to plastic, kind of get a little bit better view of what's happening here. Okay, and let's go back to our shaded, and we'll go to our top view. Let's bring this puppy in. We want to start doing something with this one. All right. So we have this. Let's go ahead and just delete that. All right, so right away you can see that it's bigger than what we're going to need for our surface. So we'll just do a little transform, scale, 3D, from maybe like right in here, and just kind of scale it down to where it kind of matches the rest of our height wise, right? And now we can just start putting it in where we want, and I'll just drag it over here to here, and we'll just do a little twist. So it's kind of like looking like it's going into our item there. See what that looks like. Yeah. Maybe drag it up a little bit more here. Kind of give it a little spin this way. You know, kind of get it in. I want to keep it inside my rail though. I mean, that'll give it nice support there. That's kind of fine. And what I'll do is I'll grab that one. I'll duplicate it from, doesn't matter, over to here somewhere maybe. And then hit enter. And then I'll take this and I'll just spin this one around, something like that. And kind of drag it wherever I want it. Kind of swirl it here, something like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, something like that. And then what we'll do is we'll just take this, and we will do that dupe again. And we'll do it from this point here over to this point, over to this point, over to this point, and hit enter. So now we have something like this going on. All right. And then the last thing I want to do is maybe add some gemstones, right? So I'm going to go to my gems, grab me a gem out here, and I'll just kind of drag it up. And we want to make it pretty small. And let's kind of drag it over wherever we want it. Oop. Maybe somewhere around in here. Something like this. And let's just go to our front because it's low, right? So we want to drag it up, something like this. We'll go ahead and hit enter. We'll select our gem, go to our settings, go to our bezel. And right away, let's turn that on so we can kind of see this kind of overcrosses. That's not a good thing. So we want to open that up a little bit, and we want to make that hole bigger there, right? Something like that. And of course, we don't need it that thick. Somewhere around 0.5 should be fine. And definitely not that high. And I don't like a lot of that dome, so we're going to take that down. And we'll drag that height up to around there. And we'll just go ahead and take a look at it. Give it some shading. Yeah, that's okay. Hit enter, and we'll grab that gem, and we'll just go over here to edit real quick and just kind of bump it in a little bit. And then hit enter. And again, we'll take that stone and that bezel, and we'll duplicate it from around there to maybe right in here, somewhere kind of close, and then hit enter. And then we'll just take this one and this one, this one, and this one, and we'll duplicate them again from that point over to this point, over to this point, and over to that point, and then hit enter. There we go. Okay. So we got all this going on. All right, so let's see what happens. You could put more stones on there. You could add more design or whatever, anything you wanted. We'll go ahead, add that, bring back our ring. And now last thing, well, before we bring that back, let's go ahead and click this on or unlock it. Select that line there. Select this line here. And we want to extrude them up. Click off of them, reselect those planar curves, holding down shift, drag them back down in. It's okay. We'll select this one here, hold down shift, select this one here. We will split with this, and hit enter. And then we should be able to, it didn't split, so let's go ahead and do that again. Split, select objects to split, this thing here, hit enter, cutting objects, enter, there we go. And now we should delete that one, delete this one, delete this one, and delete that one, and select this one, and we'll just go ahead, select this one, and we'll just go ahead and cap them for now. You don't have to. When they flow, they should line up together, and you should have a closed poly source, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. Now let's go ahead and get this back out here. And I think we are ready to check out the flow and see how it does. So we'll go to transform. We will go to smart flow. We will select our auto base. We will select our surface. We will go to objects. And I'm just going to select all individually because I have things I want to flow rigid. So I'm going to be picky about how I select my items, and this one and this one, and then I'm going to hit enter, and that's a lot of geometry to put up there, so we're going to have to give it a little bit of time. Yeah, I think I got everything. Yeah, and it's up there. Okay, so let's turn it to plastic, see what we got going on here, and there we go. It's kind of flowing up there pretty good, looks like. Yeah. All right, so we'll just go ahead and accept this. Oh, I didn't want to do that, but that's okay. And we can just redo it. We'll do another smart flow. We'll select our base. I could have just grabbed those other objects as well. Select our destination surface here. This time we're going to pick rigid, right? And then we're going to select our stones and our bezels, because we don't want them any way deformed or anything like that with the surface. We just want them up there nice and rigid, and we'll hit enter, and that was very quick. And there you go. All right, so we'll just go ahead, let's check the height out. It doesn't matter, we still need to hit enter for here. We'll hit enter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and select those gemstones and those bezels, deselect the ones on my ring, and then they're a little high, so I just want to bump them down just a little bit. Nice thing with parametric history is you can do that, and you see them drop down. There you go. They're all dropping down, and now they're not sticking up so high, right? Okay, cool. All right, so we'll click off that. Now at this point, I'm just going to go ahead, take all this and just hide it. And then actually I'm going to take this ring and I'm going to do a full save. Sorry, it'll take a few seconds. There's a lot out there, and there we go. All right, so we got this going on. Now, you know, this is, I mean, it's a nice little item there. I don't know what that came up back up for, so let's go ahead and take that, hide it. Let's take all gray and let's hide that. Let's take all our yellow, turn it, hide that. Don't need any of that right now. We need to work on our item a little bit. So there we go. We got this. What we want to do, you know, there's lots of things you could do here. You could go in here and, you know, right now it's a real sharp edge, and that's not really what you want, right? So you could select that edge. This is just one way to finish off this ring. I'll show you two different ways, this way and another way. You could go to Fillet Edge. You could select that, and then chain edges, of course, and then select that edge. Select curve in chain. All right, well, let's go back here. Grab that, grab this, chain edge. Maybe I don't need chain edge. So let's take it. Huh? Well, normally you can grab that curve. I don't know why not being able to. But you could do that. I don't know why it's not taking it. Should. It's not selecting it. Oh, I know why. Because we have it all separate. We need to join all that together. So let's take all our surfaces. Let's take all green and join it together. That's why. Give it a few seconds. Now I join that surface here. I should have probably just changed that color. Okay, it's still there. So let's take all this. Let's change this to this color. And let's take all these and we'll change it to this color too. That way we can just pick the green. All right. There we go. So let's just pick the green, join it together. All right, and we should have a closed surface, which we do. Now you can grab that fillet edge and go in here, select that edge. And of course, like I said, you wanted to chain those. So I'll right click, bring it back again, chain edges. This is just one way you could do it. You will want to hit enter, preview yes. Right now it's set at 1, which is going to be way too thick. So we'll just go ahead and hit enter here. It'll blow. We're going to set all, and we'll just take it to a 0.5. See what this one does. Hit enter. Preview yes. There we go. And it rounds them off, right? See, it's rounded. It's not sharp anymore. That's one way. So we're going to back out of that. So you could do it that way if that's the kind of thing you're going for. Another way is you could go back in, grab an ISO curve, go in here and just grab that edge right there, right? And then hit enter. And then select it, go back to your tools, put a profile on it. And we'll take that, we'll go from auto to frontal, and we will do a little manipulation here. I think it's at a 2, which is the height of our ring, which is fine. And we'll select this, bring it in, maybe a 1.4 maybe. And then also you could drag it out just a little because you don't need it that far in. And we'll hit activate auto sweep there. And you've got that, and you could actually drag that down a little bit more. Don't need it so high. Something like that. And then hit enter, just grab that, go to your transform mirror, switch it to the X direction, turn off the Y, and hit enter. And there you go. And now you just need to change everything back. So let's select all this. Let's turn these to back to purple. And then let's select our, ungroup them. Select our gemstones in there. Go around and grab all our gemstones. And we'll change those to blue for gemstones. And we will take all that color there and change it back to green. And from there, you're pretty much done, right? And if you go to render, you've got a nice surface here. And the last thing I would, probably do is if you're going to render it, would be, first turn on your render, of course, and then it'll pop up. And then you'll want to take your ring itself, right? And you'll probably want to go back and explode it, and then just take this surface here, maybe switch it to a different layer, and then you can take that layer and then come down to your don't do a matte black, do a little bit grayer. Here's the matte black, but the matte marble black, select on that one there, and then apply. And then when you go to your render, it's nice little marble black going on. So that's kind of how you can really I mean, there's all kind of things you could do to this ring, put on all different kinds of items, you know, to make whatever design you're looking for. You could even, you know, put some diamonds in here. You could put some diamonds in the rails as well. But nice little way to make a little more detailed engraved band type design. But hope the video helps, and if it did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.